Possibility thinking is thinking of the things of the future, of what you can accomplish, what you can achieve. Reflective thinking is to go back and look at the mistakes that you made, the people who you allowed to walk in doors that they were not mature in, things that you learned how to trust people where you shouldn't have trusted them, whatever the case may be. Uncommon thinking is things where you are trailblazers and trendsetters. Shared thinking is when you can really talk to people that you trust and that you know that can really help your vision grow where it needs to be. Some people have helped you in this season, and you must understand where you're going. Everybody can't walk with you, and sometimes it has to be the people that you once have a love and reverence and reverence for. And bottom line thinking, it is what it is, and you got to deal with that actual truth. The things that I've given you, that I just shared with you, these are building blocks for what you're going to need as God begin to stay in such a place of where He wants to take you. If you develop these kind of thinking patterns, you're going to become a better thinker as life begins to change. When God began to minister to me, on I want to say the 30th of December. I want to say that God said to me, He said, nurture good thoughts, Robbie. Nurture good thoughts, because it's going to be the higher place and where you are to go. And hear me, when God gives me a certain word, and I believe those of you that's listening to me, when God gives you a certain word, you better believe that there's going to be a whole bunch of people just sitting up trying to figure out exactly how to come against what it is that you are going to do. So the devil has to do something to compromise where you're trying to go into a new place. Day 5. Today is day 5. Today is day 5. And hear me, I made a decree the last week of the year. I'm not going to take a bunch of foolishness into the new year. And 5 days into it, I'm not going to allow a lot of foolishness to stagnate around me. I am a mercenary by trade. And one thing that I learned is whatever it is, I take it out and I'm going to lunch. Amen. I'm not going to lose sleep. Amen. And one thing I've learned, I don't worry about who left. I worry about those that stayed. I bid people adieu. Amen. And I don't want to be a bad person because I bid you adieu. Amen. And those that's watching, our season is up. It's time to go. Amen. You have to go. You have to go do what you have to do. I got to go do what I got to do. And when you go, never return. That's what you should tell people, and live with the real thoughts of it, and be where you should be. The only way to get out of a pile and to stand out to your boss is to understand this principle. When they ask you a question, assign you to a specific project, or send you to gather some information, they want you to go out and confirm actually what they believe to be true. Did y'all hear what I just said? If you want to evaluate yourself, and if you want to really elevate yourself, you must sync your thoughts, thank you, Holy Ghost, and you trying to answer other questions and just do the job that you're supposed to do. The goal is for you to learn how to, and I wrote this down, the goal is for you to add value to the ideal of the thoughts that exceeds expectation. You have to get to a place where you understand you have to know how to think to get yourself to the place that you need to go. Here's what I want to tell you. Quit lying on God, saying God told you to do something that He didn't tell you to do. Sometimes you're doing it just because you're mad because of something that happened. You're pouty because of something that you did, something that didn't go your way. People don't agree with the way you think, so we pout, we get mad, we get bitter. One thing that I was sharing with a group of leaders on Wednesday, and it was probably one of the greatest conversations I've ever had, because some of them knew me and they began to ask me questions about what they knew. And one thing I said to them is, I said, what I've learned in this season is to let people be right. And hear me, and in this season, I'm going to learn how to let people win. Watch this here. I'm going to let them win even if I'm not in the picture. So if you have to degrade me to make yourself look good, I'll let you do it, because people that actually know who you are, they're not going to allow certain things to go on. You follow what I'm saying? You can talk to other people. The problem is you shouldn't talk to everybody else before you talk to the one that you got the proclivity with. You have to learn how to think, because hear me, the ones who you talking to, they may be the very ones who's going back telling your business. You have to be very careful. And hear me, that's why you have to be very careful when you sink ships, because hear me, if you sink ships the wrong way, if you're not careful, what you put out could actually destroy you. You may think you're destroying somebody, but it can turn around and destroy you. So you have to learn how to think. Think twice before you speak once. Sometimes you have to allow yourself a certain place, a certain area, to where you don't allow yourself to be controlled by such negativity. One of the greatest gifts that I've learned in my life is to learn how to not allow myself to stay in a negative place. Hear me. Now, I used to hold things forever and a day. Now, y'all know me. I'm transparent. I'll tell you that. There are people around me that are very good at telling people, oh, one thing about Peters is this. One thing I know about this is this. One thing I know about this is this. And hear me very carefully. I am good to people, whether they are good to me or not. I'm learning how to I learned how to bless people. Hear me. It took me years to do it. I've learned how to bless people, even when I want to cut your throat. I've learned how to be like David when Absalom wanted to kill his own son. I'd even learned how when Absalom wanted to kill his own son, Absalom wanted to kill his own father. David knew how to go in the house and let his son kill himself. You have to know in a season of life how to move and keep your thoughts in the place that it needs to be. I'm learning that people that have been brothers, or AKA alleged brothers, and people who are supposed to have great relationship with you, how there is no allegiance to the brotherhood, no allegiance to the episcopacy, no allegiance to the apostolic. You have to learn how to keep your thoughts above a lot of foolishness. And hear me very carefully as I say this to you, and hear my heart as I say it. A lot of things you allow it to go on for the sake of the kingdom. And when you let it go for the sake of the kingdom, you can then know that there is something you must do. And you have to learn how to glorify God and not allow what you want to come in between some things. There are some people, if we ever sat down at the table, I can think real good of what not to say. Because hear me, sometimes we're so used to knowing what a person's going to say until you learn how to keep playing a bad hand where you let people know what you have in your hand. Sometimes you have to learn how to think. Sometimes you have to let your thoughts know how to throw that hand in before you even get started. Sometimes we must move. Sometimes we must come out of a place of a bad today. And I'm going to go. I'm going to get out of here for a few hours to get some work done. I want you to write this down. And this is what the Lord gave me this morning when I was speaking with one of my prophets. People will never attain what they cannot see doing themselves. Can I give that to you again? People will never attain what they cannot see themselves doing. I'm going to next week spend a lot of time helping you see how you can begin to change yourself by taking responsibility to change your thinking. That is something that I'm getting ready to do all next week. I'm going to give you one of the steps now so I can get your mind ready for it, because I want you to chew on this for the weekend, those of you that will. Changing your thinking changes your beliefs. Can you write that down, please? Changing your thinking changes your beliefs. If you don't, okay, I'll say it this way. If you don't believe in yourself, okay, stay with me. If you don't believe in yourself, you will fall victim to ideas and systems that are destructive to human spirit, okay? If you don't grow, watch this here, you will grow dependent upon the thoughts and the opinions of others. Here's the good news of what I want to share with you. What change is, and I pray that you get it. Preachers, I hope y'all ready for it. There is a song that I sing, and there's a song that I play, and I thank God for my growth in it. The song is "A Wonderful Change Has Come Over Me." It's been remade from the original Hawkins version to now Tamala Mann saying, "Change me, oh God, change me." That is the song that we've been listening to and we've been hearing. So I want to tell you, in hearing Walter Hawkins' version and hearing Tamala Mann's version, what the Lord has given me, and what will help. Okay, you. Even in a strong mind, hear me, there's no reason for you to give up an unfulfilling life. Hear me. Even with a changed mind, there's no reason for you giving up an unfulfilling life. The problem is that when we get saved, we want to be so holy to whereas we act as if we've never done no wrong, to where we never made any sin or transgressions, to where we missed and we messed up some marks, and how we have not gotten to the place where God has called for us to be. God bless. Amen. I want you to be able to actually see what I'm getting ready to say. I hope y'all ready for this, okay? As you strive to change your thinking, there are three things you got to do. This is what I get from the song. This is what the Lord giving me every time I hear the song. You ready? Here it is. Change is personal. You might want to write this down. 3-point preacher, those of you right here is getting ready to move. Change. So hear me. Change is personal. So change is personal. Here it is. I need to change. Okay, I need to change. Please write that down. Okay, so change is personal. Space, I need to change. Number 2, change is possible. I am able to change. Did y'all hear me? And here's the last one. Change is profitable. I'm rewarded by change. Let me give it to you again. Y'all can preach this, and I believe that you'll get it. Change is personal. I need to change. Change is possible. I'm able to change. Change is profitable. I am rewarded, or I'll be rewarded by change. Y'all got it? That's what I want to leave you with. I need you to remember that no matter how old you are or what your circumstances may be, you change your thinking. You have to change some areas. I thank God for it. Some people have changed and you ain't even saw the change. You slow. And how can you be a person of discernment and don't see the change? You'll be surprised. People, you just ain't came into the truth of the change. You ain't notified the people of the change, but you change. You got to be able to own it. And when you own it, you'll be respected for it. And I thank God for it. And there is confirmation to it. You need to change. You must do it. You got to do it, and you got to do it immediately. Amen. You need to change. I was telling the advisory board the other day. I said, there's some things that you got to change. Amen. There are some things that you're going to have to change. And hear me very carefully. I came right back and I got slapped in the face with it. They said things will change when you change. When you stop allowing some stuff, it'll stop happening. And I began to say to myself, absolutely. And hear me. I wasn't offended by it. I didn't go mad. I didn't go get on Facebook slamming people. I didn't go revealing stuff. I had to understand that I needed to change. And I thank God that there were people that have changed. I had to learn how to thank God for the people that moved on and are moving on, that have yet to tell me they moved on, for me to be able to move on. And all of us should be able to grow in the kingdom and do what needs to be done. There are some relationships, hear me, good relationships does not mean that you got to talk every day. Sometimes you may have to go a season, and sometimes that's what you have to do. Amen. But hear me very carefully. When you change, give a heads up so everybody know to change, so they know how to be. Change is personal. You got to change. Change is possible. I'm able to change, but change is profitable. I'll be rewarded for my change. And what I'm learning is you will be blessed by how you actually handle the change. Change sometimes ain't good. Sometimes change is necessary for you to be where you need to be. And sometimes change is what has to happen for you to grow in the area that you need to grow. Hear me. If you feel that where you are is unprofitable, change the ground that you in. Obviously, that's bad soil. I've been told a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things. I yet still hear a lot of things. And yet, you don't compromise what you do. You just change. You grow. So you can go into an expansionality of where it is that you're supposed to be. I speak expansion over your life, over this weekend, that you'll be able to where you will see the need, you will see the able to be ability, and you'll be able to see the growth in it. Hear me. Sometimes in your winter season, when the trees go lower, your roots got to get deeper. So hear me, when the ground begins to open back up, you'll be able to put the fertilization, put your seeds in the ground, and be able to see the harvest, and not look at the harvest first when you look at it as a harvest. You may have to cut the dandelion and the weeds. That's why your weed whacker is so important. Right now, we're not in that season. Right now, we got to have snow blowers to get us where we need to be. It is an amazing and a great thing to do what has to be done. And that's what I thank God for. I'm honored. I'm so honored that a lot of you joined this morning. I haven't seen you all since the last year. And I pray that as we continue to go further in the kingdom, that we'll be able to be what God has called for us to be. Here's where I'm going to leave you for the evening. I want you to look at a personal or professional issue that has created some obstacles in your progress. That's what I want you to do this weekend. And I want you to think about your thinking and what you should have done to make yourself a whole lot better. Change yourself from the obstacle so you can move to a place of great growth and great ability and great power. Amen. God bless y'all. I pray that you all have an amazing day. I got to get out of here. Amen. I have a lot I got to do. Amen. I got some letters I got to write. Amen. I got some expulsions that I got to take care of. And most importantly, I got to get ready to impact the generation. Love y'all. Have an amazing day. Don't forget, change is what's going to be for yours. Change yourself from the obstacles and watch God get ready to move. Be blessed. Have an awesome weekend.